And the first thing you need to do if you're a total beginner, you need a soft area in front of you. So you've got push and reach, which brings me onto my feet. Let's go inside and have a look. This is my first time training here. Hello everyone, and welcome to my video, how to do a forwards roll. Now, I'm making this video in honor of an expansion in my coaching business. I'm a private coach. I offer people one-to-one coaching in calisthenics, flexibility, and key for this video is gymnastics. So recently I've been doing a lot of work expanding up to London Bridge, working in a gym called Gymnation. I've been building up my calisthenics community there. I've got 2 classes going. I have a one-on-one class on Monday and a 102 class on Wednesday. So that's sort of like a beginner's level and then a more advanced level. But I am now on my way to Over Gravity Gymnastics in Shadwell in London, in case you're not in London. And if you're not in London, then that's kind of at the beginning of East London, I suppose, a little bit north of the river, on the Overground and the DLR. So I'm on my way there to Over Gravity Gymnastics, which is a really interesting gymnastics club because it primarily is for adult gymnasts, which is very unusual because most gymnastics clubs in the country are tailored towards children, younger people. It can actually be quite hard to find a good gymnastics facility, class, teaching situation if you are an adult, and that's why this place is fantastic. Now, I'm going to be renting the space, so I'm running my own private coaching business, and I'm able to rent the space. But you'll be working with me, Coach Jamie, if you decide to come. They do offer their own classes as well, very, very good classes, and there's a brilliant community of coaches at Over Gravity. So if you are interested in some adult gymnastics, then I definitely recommend checking it out as a thing in and of itself. But what we're going to do today is go to the open training session, which is one of my favorite things that these adult gymnastics classes run, which is just a session where if you're familiar with what you're doing, you can go in and it's 3 hours of just doing whatever you want to do. So what I want to do today is I'm going to do a little bit of exercise, obviously, because for me, gymnastics is just a lovely way to keep fit and strong these days, although I was a competitive gymnast. What I want to do is make you a little video on how to do a forwards roll and how to do a forwards roll, how a gymnast would do a forwards roll. So when we get a little bit further on our journey, I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about what gymnastics actually is. Okay, so I'm on the train now. I've got a couple of stops before I arrive in Shadwell. So I wanted to talk a little bit about what gymnastics actually is. So when people think of gymnastics, it's things like back somersaults or the beam or the high bar, things like this, or the rings. But what sort of differentiates what actual gymnastics is, what they do at the Olympics, and just sort of flipping around, and which is very cool, and but parkour and other things like that, is that gymnastics is a recognized code of points. What the code of points essentially means is that there's a book which has a load of recognized movements in it, which everyone agrees is what are the skills of gymnastics. So it's the skills which, if you present them on to a judge in a gymnastics competition, will actually be recognized. I don't actually know what happens if you do something which isn't a gymnastics skill in a gymnastics competition. It's probably just superfluous. What I can remember being a key thing about competition is that even if you do something which isn't a skill, or something which you don't claim, because you have to submit a tariff sheet at the beginning of a gymnastics competition where you say, I'm going to do all of this, and then there's a judge on the panel whose job it is to go, yeah, they did all of that. They recognize that you did what you said you were going to do, and that's part of how they judge it. But if you do something which isn't on the tariff sheet, you can still be marked for execution on it. So even if I do a cartwheel as a piece of choreography, and I'm not saying I want you to look at how good my cartwheel is, if I make a mistake in it, then they can still take execution points off, which is not good. Because the way that scoring works in gymnastics is you have your difficulty, which is based on the skills that you submit, the things that you say you're going to do. You say, I'm going to do this, and this. And it's almost like striking a deal. The judges go, okay, cool. If you do all of that, we'll give you this difficulty score. And it just has to be recognized. It doesn't necessarily have to be good. If you mess up a skill to the point that it's not recognized as the skill that you've said you were going to do, then they will take the difficulty off as well as like really big deductions in execution. So there are lots and lots of ways you can lose marks in gymnastics. And probably a very quick and easy way would be doing something you said you weren't going to do, and particularly if you mess up doing something you said you weren't going to do. So yeah, but that's sort of like the key thing, and that's what actual formal gymnastics is. It's a recognized group of skills that you can pick whichever ones you want, string them together however you want to, and then they're critiqued by a panel of judges. And then anything outside of that is probably recognized as choreography, or there are lots of skills which are like banned for health and safety reasons. But what that means is that it means that there are these things called desired models. It means that there is a way that people will recognize the skill as being sort of performed in a perfect mode. And that informs the way that people start to use their bodies and move around as gymnasts, which is interesting when we get into the sort of like the realm of normal people and ways that you can move which are more beneficial to you and your health, and being able to do things that you really want to do, like sport, like any kind of sport, running better, playing tennis, whatever it is, because this way of controlling your body so that you can perform these perfect gymnastic skills for a judge, if you're in that situation, can also be taken and used by everyday people to inhabit your body in an enhancetive way, a way which is beneficial to you, so that you're getting healthier and stronger as you move around your life, as you go about your normal day-to-day activity. And that's what I'm really interested in bringing to you as normal people who aren't competitive gymnasts, out of that world of competitive gymnastics. And so what we're going to look at today is building a forwards roll in kind of like an intuitive way, but also applying some of that gymnastics sort of style of movement, which is born out of those recognized skills, that recognized code of points, which can be critiqued, but bringing it into an environment where what we're interested in is not so much performative excellence as enhancetive movement in the body, making you stronger, helping you to enjoy yourself more. So that's a little sort of roundup of what gymnastics actually is as a thing, and what we as people going about our normal lives can be really interested in integrating gymnastic style training into our everyday, I suppose. Anyway, we will be at the gym very soon. Okay, so we've just come out of Shadwell Overground Station. That's the City of London over there. And we are going to Over Gravity Gymnastics, which means we're going this way. So that's Shadwell Station. We've come out, we're turning right, and then we want to go up and over here. Well, not into that black fence. We want to go up and over here and to these railway arches. So we have just gone under that railway arch, and now I'm coming out here and I'm just turning right again to go up this road. I suppose if you're looking for landmarks, there's this HAQS thing. There's this building with the yellow windows, I suppose. Anyway, we're going to carry on up here for a while. Feel free to take in and admire the abundance and greenery of Shadwell as you're on your way. And you might be able to see a little purple dot emerging. Okay, and here we go, Over Gravity Gymnastics. Let's look both ways before we cross the road, so as not to come to an abrupt and unfortunate end to the video. Oops. Okay, Over Gravity Gymnastics. There we go, that's the sign. So, we just came from down there. All right, I'm hoping this gets the sign in as well as me. But yeah, we've come from down the road. So I literally came out of Shadwell Overground Station and I turned right. Then I turned left and went underneath the railway arch. And then I turned right again. And I walked all the way down that road and that brought me to here. And that's how you can get to Over Gravity Gymnastics. So let's go inside and have a look. This is my first time training here. So we've got these arches. Ah yes, a gymnastics gym. That's exactly what I was expecting to see. Now, you may be confused if you haven't done gymnastics before, but this is where a lot of gymnasts actually begin their training, on their parents' sofas and chairs. So I'm imagining that this is a tasteful recreation of that early phase for many young gymnasts by Over Gravity. I'm very impressed by the first stage. That's a joke. Okay, and then we've got this arch here, which, as I understand it, has calisthenics equipment in it. Yep, so we've got calisthenic stuff in here. We've got a nice mat, and I don't know which number this is. Oh, do they have numbers on them? They have 4. They have, oh, so maybe that's 2. Oh, there it is. That's arch 2. And then we've got arch number 3. I think this is where I'm going to be doing a lot of my private coaching sessions. So in here, we've got a tumbling floor, lots of brilliant tumbling equipment. Yeah, fantastic place for learning how to do gymnastics. Very, very good. And then we're going to arch 4 today. That's where the session is. Going all the way along to this door at the end and here. I'm going to sign off here and check in with you in a moment because I've got to say hello to everyone, and I think it's better for me to arrive with my face, and then I'll show you arch 4. Okay, so we've just had a really lovely conversation with Davide, who is one of the owners here, and this is arch 4. So this is where the session is happening today. Kind of looks a bit like arch 3, maybe a little bit more spacious. But anyway, I'm going to have a little bit of a warm-up and then do some stuff and show you how to do a forward roll. Oh. Okay, so I've had a little bit of a warm-up. Yeah, the gym feels really good. The floor is nice. It feels nice and solid, but it does give a good bounce. And all my skills and movements feel really good in here. The air track also is really good, sends you really nice up and high in the air. So it's a good gym. Gets good marks for the warm-up so far. So let's get into talking about this forwards roll. So first I'm going to show you what like a formal gymnastics forward roll would look like. The kind of forward roll you'd be doing if you were in like a proper competitive gymnastics club. Okay, so you'd be drawing yourself in, always really smart starting, and then you kind of would make a shape like this, and then finish up like that as well. And the key features there are length and extension. So I'll do it again in a moment. I want you to concentrate on how my arms stay straight, how my legs go long over the top, and then at the end, there's a seamless transition into a still position, as opposed to wobbling around. Any kind of undesirable movement is what they're looking for in normal, competitive, sort of traditional gymnastics. So if we look again, starting strong, feet are together, into my core, extended position, show that I'm ready. Then extension of the legs, seamlessly into this position. And that's sort of like your formal forward roll. But we don't need all of that. We don't need all of those elements. There's something very key which is going on, which we can take out and just turn into a very sort of easier looking movement. So I'll show you a different movement, okay? So I can actually establish this control here, exactly the same, but have a much more relaxed sense in my body. But I've done the same thing in my middle, as though I were doing this. All of this is actually aesthetic. It's to make it look like it's coming in line with that code of points that I was talking about earlier. But in terms of the control, all I actually need to do is draw into my stomach, feel length in my legs, and have that really nice connection to the ground. Then I'm just going to move myself forwards and re-establish that connection again. And that's actually what makes the movement work. And as you saw, I didn't need any of the stretch, any of the extension, but it still sort of traveled. It was still exactly the same kind of thing, okay? So what I'd like to try and teach you today is how you can get that to happen in your own body. So we're going to move on to that now. Okay, so let's have a look at this. Again, if we're doing just the movement now. We're not interested in sort of the aesthetics. Get control of your core, draw into your middle. Imagine that there's a little yellow ball just behind your belly button. Pull into it, press down through your legs so you have control. Really, getting the forwards roll to happen, the first thing you need to do if you're a total beginner, you need a soft area in front of you so that you're going to feel all right about going onto your back. You can also put down a crash mat as well, but just get your hands down on the floor and start to use your legs. Can you see I'm pushing with my leg? Start to use your legs to move that little yellow ball forwards. Right now, the little yellow ball is over my feet. I want to move that ball to being over my hands and then look through my arms and just come onto my back like that. Literally just come onto your back. And that's the beginning of the motion. I've sort of taken myself over the top and I'm moving in that direction, okay? From there, the next thing to do is actually to begin to reach upwards, reaching with the arms. This is what creates the momentum up, okay? So if I'm here, beginning, got the little yellow ball, I'm gonna push with my legs and then come over and reach with my arms. And that's the second part, which is actually gonna start to bring you up onto your feet and continue that momentum which you've created, okay? So if we see that, if I begin here, push, 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 reach, and then I'm ending up on my feet, okay? And then it's just sort of a matter of disguising that, really. So I'm here, have nice control, come down, push with my legs, reach, and then the little yellow ball is back on top of my feet. And then if I want to, I can return to my formal gymnastics, and it's exactly the same. Strong in here, push, and da-da-da, super good. But all of the positioning, all of that stretching is just a school of movement. It's just to make it look a certain way. But the mechanics is that little yellow ball traveling, using your legs to push, strong with your arms, resist as you come over the top, and then have a sense of momentum. If you keep moving and then reach with the arms, this is going to just glide you up and onto your feet, keeping strong through your core throughout. And that's very much just how to do a forwards roll with exactly the same technique that the top Olympians will be using, okay? And the real theory behind having that technique built in there and understanding your body in that way is that from there you can build outwards and outwards and outwards. Refining that technique, refining that way of moving will open things up for you in the future. You can take your forward roll as far as you want. It will also help you to understand your other ways of moving. You're walking, going upstairs. You'll become better at that. And yeah, so what I'll finish up with just a little demo of how this forward roll can progress and what kind of cool things you can do when you really, really master the technique. Okay, so let's just build it up for fun. Okay, so I've got my first one, push and flop on my back. And then after that, I've got push and reach, which brings me onto my feet. And then I've got my nice relaxed looking forwards roll. All of these, again, I'm just using the little yellow ball, just using the floor. Then I've got formal gymnastics forwards roll. And that's a tuck. That's a tuck forwards roll. Tuck because my legs bend as I come in, okay? I can also do a straddle forwards roll, like this. Okay, so when I do that, I come up like this. Split the legs and press and come up. Obviously you need a bit of flexibility for that one. And you need even more flexibility for this one, which is pike forwards roll, where you come up over straight legs, okay? And looks like this from the front. And they all use the same technique. And that's sort of like all of the forward rolls, basic forward rolls done. But then we can move on to things like dive rolls and somersaults, which I'll show you a bit of next. Okay, I'm going to have to abandon the microphone for this part, but first I'm going to show you a dive roll. And next I'm going to show you a full twisting dive roll, which is one of my absolute favorite skills. Some very, very high level stuff going on just behind the camera, so I've just moved that. So that was full twisting dive roll. That took me quite a long time to learn, but I love that skill. I'm going to show you quite a hard skill, which is 1.5 somersaults. Well, I'll show you a standard forwards. I'll show you a front somersault first, which is obviously like, I guess, the airborne version of a forwards roll. And then I'll finish off on one very cool skill, which is a 1.5 somersaults to dive roll. So let's go front somersault first. And obviously with front somersault, you can do pike and straight and twist. So maybe I'll throw some of those in for fun as well, because it's just cool to show you. And now, yeah, I'll finish up with the 1.5 dive roll. That'll be really cool end. Okay, yeah, so that's just showing you, you don't have to do all of that once you've learned your nice forwards roll, but that's just showing you what I have done with the technique, which is embedded in that little forward roll that I taught you at the beginning. You know, that technique it can take you all the way to the highest level of performance. Not that we need to, but the point is that it sets your movement free. You see, like I've been able to do very complex things with that movement, but what I use it for in my day-to-day is moving around with more ease, feeling easy and floaty in my body and having a nice time and enjoying myself. And I don't do that stuff a lot of the time most of the time I just just do the things I really like doing. And what a lot of my clients are looking for is just ease in their body, less pain. And it's all in that holding yourself, drawing into the little yellow ball. And what I wanted to show today was where that technique and idea came from the world of gymnastics, and hopefully what it can be for you. Sorry that the camera is bouncing around a lot. It's a gymnastics gym in here. People are bouncing around on the floor. But yeah, so we'll leave it there for today. Obviously, I'm a coach. That's the point of this video. I'm a gymnastics coach, and you know where I am. I'm here at Over Gravity, and you can come and learn some gymnastics with me and some strengthening for your core, a little bit of flexibility if you wanted to, and start to implement that little yellow ball in your daily life. And yeah, I'll be really looking forward to working with more and more people here at Over Gravity in my private sessions. And you should definitely check it out yourself for the classes. Davide and Matteo, who are the guys who are the owners, had a really lovely conversation with them. They've got a really open-minded philosophy about teaching gymnastics to adults and anyone who wants to come along and have a go. So I'd really highly recommend the place, and I'm very much looking forward to working here more myself. So if you enjoyed the video, let's have a like and a subscribe, and you can communicate with me on my Instagram, which is @_coach.jamie_, or my email, which is jamie@coachjamie.co.uk. Just let me know what you'd like to do, and we can get started. But that's all for today. So yeah, I'll see you again soon.